Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. As our guests are getting assembled, I'll go through a quick run of show here, and then we'll get started. We'll begin. President Rudd will speak first, followed by Board of Trustees Co-Vice Chair Cato Johnson. After that, we'll have University of Memphis Executive Associate AD and Senior Women Administrator Lauren Ashman. Then Memphis Director of Athletics Laird Veach, and followed by Head Coach Katrina Merriweather. And after that, we'll take questions from the media, and we'll pass around microphones, and we'll take care of it that way. And we'll go ahead and get started. Without further ado, I'm pleased to introduce the 12th President of the University of Memphis, Dr. M. David Rudd.
Thank you. Well, it is my pleasure to be able to welcome you here today to help us welcome a new coach at the University of Memphis. It is great to see you, to be a part of this transition. Let me just say a couple of quick words. One, I want to thank Laird and Lauren for just an exceptional job. This is Laird's second coaching hire over the course of the last several years, and they've really done a remarkable job across both of these hires. In particular, I want to welcome Coach Merriweather. Really great to see you in Memphis, and look forward to seeing a lot more of you in Memphis. And I know that we will. The reality when you look at a coaching search, there are a lot of capable individuals around the country, and a lot of capable individuals in women's basketball today. I will tell you, they narrowed the search very quickly, recognized the great talent that Coach Merriweather possesses, and her capacity to build and sustain a program. She's demonstrated that. And I think that you'll find that she is a remarkably good fit for Memphis. And we will be excited to see what happens over the course of the coming year. So with that, let me say, Coach, welcome. Glad you're here. And thank Laird and Lauren for your great work. And I'm going to turn it over to Trustee Cato Johnson to say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Rudd. This will be incredibly quick. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, let me welcome you and let me thank all of you for coming out. Coach, years ago, Dr. King once said, it's not how one stands in time of comfort and convenience, but how one stands in times of challenge. Your entire career, you have stood tall in times of challenge. This is a great place to be. This is a great university. This is a great city. And this is a great time to be a Tiger. Welcome, and we're glad you're in Memphis.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank all of you for being here today as we usher in a new era in our women's basketball program. This is truly a special day as we officially welcome Katrina Merriweather, our new head women's basketball coach, to the University of Memphis. Throughout this process, Laird and I emphasized to her how supportive this community is of its athletics department and its university overall, and today's reception with all of you here certainly reinforces that. As administrators, the hiring of a new coach is one of the most important responsibilities that we can have. I want to thank our current student athletes who are here today for their trust and patience as we navigated through this really important process. I also want to thank the countless alumni and fans of our women's basketball program who shared messages of excitement and encouragement, and we look forward to having your continued support. When Laird and I began our search, we were confident that we would attract a proven winner to Memphis. But our priorities also extended well beyond winning. We wanted to find the right person, the right fit, the one who could help our current and our future student athletes exceed their potential in all facets of their lives. In our first conversation, Katrina explained the 5 pillars of her program: trust, respect, accountability, commitment, and ethics. These, as she will tell you, are non-negotiable. Coach Merriweather brings a unique combination of confidence, commitment, and compassion. and I know that all of you will see this on display both today and in the years to come. 113 wins in 5 seasons, a winning percentage of over 70, 3 Horizon League championships, 3 Horizon League Coach of the Year awards, a win as a 13 seed in the NCAA tournament over a 4 seed. To emphasize how rare that is, I will share this. A top 4 seed had not lost in the first round of the NCAA women's basketball tournament since 2012. All of these statistics prove that we were able to recruit and hire an exceptional head coach. Just as important, though, we were able to hire a passionate leader, a role model, a culture builder, an incredible recruiter, an effective communicator, and a high-quality person. While preparing my remarks, I came across the following sentiment shared by Bob Grant, Director of Athletics at Wright State University. She is like the saying, always a fountain, never a drain. You never have a bad day when you're around Katrina Merriweather. I am confident that we are going to have a lot of really good days now that Coach Merriweather is a Memphis Tiger. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Lauren, for those kind remarks about Coach Matt Merriweather. What a great time to be a Tiger, huh? This has been the last few days have been certainly special. Great introduction today. Thanked Penny and our men's team for winning the NIT. We got vaccines coming. There's just so much to be excited about and positive about. And today is certainly one of those days. Before we get started, I do want to thank Melissa McFerrin for all of her years of service. Although it did not end the way she wanted, right, or really any of us. She was extremely passionate about this place and put her heart and soul into it, and I want to thank her and her staff for her years of dedication. I also want to thank our Board of Trustees, particularly Cato Johnson. Thank you, Cato, for the kind words. Also, Carol Roberts and Chairman Doug Edwards, who were involved in this process directly, and for all their support. And I especially want to thank President Rudd for his support. I haven't forgiven him yet for his retirement announcement. I'm not sure how long that's going to take me, but I'm certainly not there yet. In fact, I was talking to a neighbor just last night, and we were lamenting about that announcement. And he asked me, he said, surely with COVID, there's some way to, get him an extra year of eligibility, right? We can extend that on somehow. So we might want to talk about that after the time together today. I also want to thank and recognize President Rudd for his commitment to continuing with this renovation that we're sitting in today in the midst of a pandemic, which isn't always easy to stay with those types of commitments. But certainly it was needed, and we look around, this place is looking pretty good, huh? Pretty nice. And we're not done yet. So we are, as you saw, finishing out some exterior areas. We're going to be putting in a video board this summer, some additional graphics and other things. And I'm really excited about the type of environment that this will hold. As we did with the football search, I want to share that I had several conversations going into this process with people that have been in and around the women's basketball program, just to get a sense of the history and what we really needed to be looking for. I especially want to thank a couple of former coaches, Joy Lee McNellis and Coach Mary Lou Johns, who's recently announced the Tennessee Hall of Fame, and thank them for their words and their insight as we were going into the process. And also Nikki Bray, who is not only a great professor and does a lot of our commentating work, but a former great high school coach and player for the Tigers, gave great perspective. KB Turner, who's with us today, our chair of our faculty athletic committee. Linda Black, who is our faculty athletic rep, was also involved. And I also want to thank Penny. Coach Hardaway, early on in the process, I was about to give him a call. I had it scheduled in for the next day on my list to talk to him about this search and his thoughts, to ask him to be engaged in the process, and he beat me to it. He called me that night and shared that, hey, that he has thoughts and he's passionate about it, wants to be helpful, and he was very engaged and very, very helpful in the process. And finally, I want to thank Lauren. Lauren was tremendous throughout this process. She has joined not only this process, but she joined our department just a month or two before COVID hit, and has truly been a rock for this department. She has provided incredible leadership. I sort of call her our true north. She's the one that makes sure we stay focused on the right things time and again, and I'm extremely thankful for Lauren. But I'm also thankful for her network. She brought to this process an incredible network within the women's basketball community, really helped us navigate and get names early. And I can tell you that when anybody asks, where do we find Katrina, it was because of Lauren. So early on, in fact, the very first day, she walked in with a short list, and Katrina was right there towards the top. So I appreciate Lauren's efforts throughout the entire process. I want you all to know that I recognize the importance of basketball to this city. It's kind of hard to miss, right? Particularly as I've gone through the NIT here this last week, and I know the passion and the enthusiasm for this sport in this city. And that was not lost on our candidates. I can tell you that there was extreme interest. I know I've probably shared that before in other searches, but there's a reason for that. Particularly in this sport, in this city, people recognize, other candidates have recognized the passion. They obviously recognize the talent, the recruiting base, but they know that if you come here, you can win, and you can be successful, and you'll be supported in the right way. So that was exciting to see and witness throughout the entire process. The question you always get in my chair is, what were you looking for, right? What were you looking for at a head coach? And as opposed to listing those items, I just asked you to sort of listen to the accolades that I would share, the attributes about Katrina, because really all these things check all the boxes. She checked all the boxes and then some. First of all, as Lauren said, she's a proven winner, right? I don't need to list off again all the accomplishments, but a proven winner as a head coach. She knows how to get it done, and she also knows how to turn a program around. She was, as an assistant, she helped turn the program around at Wright State. She was then elevated to the head coaching position and continued to take it to new heights, which I think says a lot about her and her abilities. She's seen it done at the highest levels. She was at Purdue and saw their success. I can tell you, Coach Christy Curry speaks extremely highly of her. She was very excited to talk to me about Katrina in the process. And in a lot of ways, just like I shared about Ryan Silverfield when we hired Ryan, Katrina was born to coach. She has been around coaching all of her life. She has a great mentor sitting right there in the middle of the front row. Her dad's been coaching for 30 years. In fact, I'm not sure if Katrina was playing on the AAU teams or coaching on the AAU teams, probably both at the same time when she was 10, 12 years old. So it's been in her blood her entire life. She was a winner as a player at Cincinnati, so she not only knows the roots of this conference, but she knows what it's like to have the power of a city team behind you. She is just going to be a remarkable fit. She fits our place, she fits our city, she fits our culture. And the best way I can describe her personality is the first time that Lauren and I had a conversation with her over Zoom. We were extremely excited right after the call. It was an amazingly easy conversation. We just connected right away. There was immediate trust, sincerity. You just felt very real in your conversation and very comfortable in your conversation with Katrina. I think a lot about and talked a lot about to other coaches about how do you balance love and discipline these days, and how hard that is with coaching young people because it is such a challenge. And I really believe that she has that perfect balance. You can tell by the way she articulates how she focuses on the players, the very intentional efforts she has in supporting them and caring for them. But then at the same time, I think it was right after, not right after, but shortly after the game, her last game, we had a conversation with her on the phone, and her voice was very hoarse, and she said, "This is what happens when we get out-rebounded." So I knew she had the discipline part down as well. So I just can't tell you how excited I am to have Katrina with us. I also want to share that on top of everything else, it's not lost on me, and I think it's important to recognize that Katrina will be our first black head coach for our women's basketball program in the history of Memphis. And Thank you. And I can tell you, when she asked me the question of what am I looking for, we went through all the standard things about, winning and academic support and all the things that are so critical. And I said in the end, ultimately what I'm looking for is a leader. And I believe this position can go beyond basketball. I think it can really influence this university, this city, and I'm extremely excited to bring diversity to that role here at the University of Memphis. So with that, I'd like you to ask you to stand up, if you would. And I'm really excited and thankful to ask you to help me welcome your new head women's basketball coach at the University of Memphis, Katrina Merriweather. I think we're supposed to step to the side. Yeah. Lauren, come on. All right, welcome, Coach.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, thank you, because that's a lot of pressure. I think I would have knocked this whole stand down. Hello. I am thoroughly excited to be the head coach at the University of Memphis women's basketball program. There are so many things that I would love to say, but I'm not going to keep you here all day. Thank you so much to President Rudd, to Laird, to Lauren, to the Board of Trustees, particularly Mr. Johnson right behind me, everyone that I spoke to during this process, Coach Hardaway, everyone who took the time to get to know me, took the time to ask me questions, and most importantly, took the time to share their passion for University of Memphis. Not just the university, but the city. I learned very quickly what it means to be a Memphian, and there's a criteria. I don't know how many ribs I have to eat, or how many times I have to go to Beale Street, or how many years I have to be here, but I'm looking forward to becoming a Memphian at some point once I meet those standards. My family, thank you very much for being here. My dad, Kevin Merriweather, my mother, Roxanne Merriweather, my little sister, Katrina Merriweather, them taking off and making sure that they could be here to support me. I really appreciate you. I have two people with me, Tennille Adams and Devin Reed, that worked with me the last 3 years at Wright State, and I thank you for being here as well. And a host of other people that really wanted to be here to support not just me, but to support everyone that's here, that understand and know the tradition that is Memphis basketball, and wanted to show how much they believe in the momentum that this program has and the direction that it's headed. I have said a lot of things in the last couple of days, media-wise, in regards to how much I believe in this place, how much I want to be a part of this community, how much I believe that when I watch these young women on film, and I had a chance to talk to them a few minutes ago, how talented they are, how charismatic they are, how they talk and share what they think and how they feel. And I cannot wait to get to know them better so that we can put together this plan so that we can maximize their potential individually and then collectively as a group. I'm really looking forward to that. I'll tell you my time at Wright State, the 11 years that I've spent there, that place was home. And I grew there as a coach in a very competitive league with some competitive coaches. I grew as a woman. I even went back to school to get my master's degree, did a lot of different things there. And it was going to take a very special, unique, phenomenal group of people for me to leave there. And when I got the phone call from Laird, and all I could hear was how enthusiastic he was, how much he had this vision for not, again, just women's basketball, but the athletic department in general, and how convinced I was that he was going to do everything he could to invest in these young people and to give them the student athlete experience that they deserve. And it was a no-brainer for me. And that's very hard to say when you've spent 11 years somewhere at a place that you call home. And I can't imagine any other people, I can't imagine any other place that would have made me feel so comfortable in trying something new, taking on a new challenge, to meet new people, to move to a new place that I've never lived before. And I just can't express to you in words how excited I am to get going, how excited I am to meet all of you, to spend the time talking to you, to get engaged in the community, just to embrace every part of what it means to be a part of University of Memphis. And I know that there are so many people that believe in this place. They believe in these young women. And I think that that's what gives me the most energy. Right? When I hear that people say, hey, Trina, like, they're great. You know, and you will hear me jump back and forth. Sometimes I call them kids. Sometimes I call them young women. Sometimes I call them student athletes. And really, it just kind of depends on what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish. But I do know that the room of young women that I just talked to are absolutely phenomenal. And if I was not remotely sold before, which obviously I was because I'm here, I was the minute that I walked out of that room. I truly believe that it is people that make a place. As much as these renovations look amazing, again, I've been in this gym in the 90s, so I know how much and how far it has come. But it's not the gym, it's not the locker room, it's not the film room, it's not the way we travel, it's not any of those things. It is the people. And that is the reason why Memphis has an opportunity to continue to grow and move forward on the shoulders of all the coaches that were here before, the contributions that every single player has made in this program. And we intend on connecting with alums. We intend on bringing them back in here. I remember the days of the Tamika Whitmores and the Latanya Johnsons. Well, I'm going to see if I can find them. We're going to bring them back in here so that they can make sure that they attend games and they talk to these young people and they remind them of what this program was and still is and can continue to be. And I'm looking forward to all of those things. And again, investing in everyone that's here. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for showing up for me, for being present, for showing your support. And I look forward to maximizing our potential, whatever that looks like, every single practice, every week, every month, until we grow, we meet the goals that we know that we can achieve. So again, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you, and I can't wait to get to work. Go Tigers.
Coach, if you would, could you remain at the podium? We'll take some questions.
We're taking questions.
Yes, members of the media, if you would, please raise your hand. We'll pass around a microphone and state your name and affiliation so Coach can get to know you.
Katrina, I'm Danielle Lerner. I write for the Daily Memphian. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you.
My question is, a lot of the challenges that you're going to face here are challenges you've encountered before at Wright State, a young team, a team with not a lot of recent postseason experience. How did what you learned there help you apply, I guess, some knowledge here?
I have had some amazing mentors, way too many to name. Again, Christy Curry that Laird mentioned earlier. Mike Bradbury, who is a specialist at getting into a situation and evaluating the situation and then coming up with a plan. And ultimately, that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep having conversations. We're going to get in the gym. I'm going to watch these young women play some open gyms so we can identify what their strengths are and the things that they want to work on, the things that they want to get better at. And we're going to, again, get into some individuals and sharpen that skill set. And more importantly, we're just going to spend time. We're going to spend time getting to know each other as people, what their goals and aspirations are as students, and what it is that they want to accomplish individually as basketball players.
Hi, Raven Moore with BBM Sports. So you talked about playing here in Memphis while you were in college. So did that familiarity kind of help you decide on coming to Memphis as a new head coach?
Absolutely, 100%. I think that that's just a normal human reaction. You know, when there's something that's brought to you that's familiar, you get these warm and fuzzy feelings. And I think that that's what I had, for lack of a better word. I don't remember the scores of those games, but I'm pretty sure that we did not win my first couple years when we came into Memphis. But the familiarity and there's a little more. I've got some family that's here. There are some connections that I'm extremely excited to use and to continue to grow. My aunt's in-laws live here in Memphis. You know, it's just such a great city. I think that you're going to find people. Ever since the announcement came out, I've gotten countless emails, text messages, and phone calls about people I had no idea lived here that are asking, how can I help? What can I do? Can't wait to see you. Let's go grab, again, barbecue on Beale Street, because apparently that is the thing to do. You know, so I'm just really excited about that because, yes, the familiarity and the excitement that I'm feeling from so many different directions did make it a lot easier to make the move.
Hey, Katrina, Mark Giannotto from the Commercial Appeal. How would you describe a Katrina Merriweather team? You know, like for people who haven't watched Wright State extensively, how would you describe the characteristics that you really harp on with a basketball team?
I think it's really important to depend on something that's dependable. And for me, that's going to be defense and rebounding, always. You'll hear me say a lot. If we make shots, sure, the game will be a lot easier, right? But one thing that we can rely on that will travel, whether we play here or we play an hour away or 10 hours away, is going to be our defensive rebounding. It takes effort, it takes guts, it takes grit, it takes toughness, all the things that I believe are necessary for you to be successful in life. And so part of what we teach is when we say basketball is life, we don't mean you sacrifice everything in life just to play basketball. We mean that there are lessons and skills that you're going to learn from being a basketball player that are going to carry you through some of the toughest times that life is going to hit you with. So we're going to defend and we're going to rebound and we're going to play fast and up tempo and we're going to be in shape and we're going to have a lot of fun doing that.
Katrina, hi, I'm up here. I'm Clayton Collier with ABC Local 24 here. You talked about, you know, what Memphis can be here and how big of a basketball city this is. I mean, how much of a factor was that for you in taking this job, just knowing what this can be, especially with the high interest in basketball here?
It's huge. When you are in a place where people care, where people are invested, there's pressures that come along with that. You know, there's pressures that come along with fans, with people who watch the games and pay attention. But I think that that's a great thing. I think it's great for our student athletes. When they come in and they work hard every day, they deserve to have people watching and paying attention and cheering and supporting them. I think that being part of a basketball community, though, is awareness. It's not just when it's good. You know, that you have people who are diehard fans that support you through the ups and downs and the obstacles and the setbacks and the jump forwards and everything in between. So having people that know basketball, having people that love basketball that are right here is a huge benefit, obviously for me, but most importantly for our players.
And Laird said that he felt you were a perfect fit when it came especially to the balance between love and discipline. Why do you think that is, and what is your philosophy on that?
I was blessed to be raised in a very unique situation, you know, where my dad has had a youth mentoring program for 30 years called The Family, and my entire family has been engaged in that. People on my staff have been a part of that program since they were 8 years old. And I think that what it taught me is that no matter where people come from, no matter what obstacles they have, you still have to love and respect and take care of everyone. Just be a decent human being. And I think that when we have conversations, and I just spoke to the team about, I wasn't born 41. I remember what it was like to be 18 or 22. And of course, I didn't do everything I was supposed to. And I didn't listen when people gave me advice all the time. But what I was raised to do was to be accountable, take responsibility. That when you make decisions and those decisions turn out to not give you the result that you wanted, or it's not what you were supposed to do, that you need to be held accountable for that. Gave them the example of the kid who has the parent that doesn't give them a curfew. And it looks really cool to everybody around you because you get to hang out all the time. But really all that kid wants is a curfew so that they know that their parents care. And that is exactly what we're going to be. We're going to be a family, and we're going to love, respect, and take care of each other. And we are going to hold each other accountable. Otherwise, how are we supposed to accomplish all the amazing things we can if we don't?
How you doing, Coach? Good morning. Terry Davis, Tri-State Defender.
Nice to meet you.
One thing Memphis women's basketball has always had as a core base, they always have the nice, solid group that's always stay there. What are your plans to try to expand that base and get it back to where it used to be?
Well, there's so many factors to that. I think one of them is to obviously maintain the relationships that we have right now. There's plenty of kids from Memphis and the surrounding areas on this current team, and they need to know, and as all the kids do, that they're important to what we're doing. But there's AAU coaches, high school coaches, alums, so many people in the area that, again, I've heard from already that are very excited. The toughest part about being the head coach at University of Memphis is that you can only have 15 players, because the amount of players that I have been emailed about that want to be in this jersey is phenomenal. So again, we're going to be in the community. And that's part of what we've always done and what I believe is important. We're going to do community service. We are going to be visible all over the city and give back the same way that we expect them to come and support us at our games.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jeff Calkins from the Daily Memphian. Welcome.
Thank you.
2 questions. Obviously, the program hasn't had a lot of recent success. What was it you saw here that made you think you could succeed, and might an NCAA tournament bid be in the ultimate aspirations? I guess that's question number 1.
Well, again, the first people that I talked to are Laird and Lauren in regards to the position. And like everyone has echoed, they have an extreme investment and passion for what Memphis is going to be. I think that it starts there, and then they rave about President Rudd and the Board of Trustees and how many people are pulling and cheering for the success of the athletic department. And again, not just women's basketball, but just as a collective. And I think that part of what me and some of the young women were talking about is you just got to reset. Just push a button and let's move forward. Let's not dwell in the past. Let's not talk about what happened and what was and what could have been. Let's deal with what we can actually do something about, and that's today, tomorrow, and the next day. And that's how we're going to approach everything. One of the things I live by is I wake up every morning, I try to be the best person I can be, work as hard as I can, and then be okay with whatever is in store for me after that. And hopefully that's something that we can continue to move towards. And then if I have a bad day, off day, you evaluate it that night and you try to be better the next day. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to work hard every single day. We're going to evaluate, and then we'll make adjustments where we need to. But we are going to live in the present, be thankful for all the people that did all the work in the past, and make sure that we are pushing in the direction that we want to go.
And then I guess my second question is, Laird pointed out the significance of you being the first black coach to lead this program, and there's obviously an African-American who leads the men's program as well. What is the significance of that, and in this community in particular, do you embrace that, and how should we think about that?
Absolutely, and there's been a little bit of tension, based on even having an all-female staff, where I've been, and I think representation matters. I think it's important for young people to see people who look like them. And as much as I am very proud to be the first black coach and to be a female coach in women's basketball, I think that one thing that we will focus on is the importance of being a good person. And that character is important, and who we are is important, how we treat people is important. And again, being able to have a Coach Stringer, a Don Staley, all these coaches out here that made me believe that I could be a Division I college coach is incredibly important, without a doubt. But we will not stop there. We're going to continue to value what's important, and that is the type of person that you are.
Danielle Lerner with the Daily Memphian again. Have you filled out your staff yet? And I know you just got to talk with the players before this, but do you have any ideas about roster retention?
Not at all. It's a great question, and I can't wait to be able to answer that for you. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind the last couple weeks, obviously, and due diligence is really important, that we have some thorough conversations, again, that we get to the bottom of what everybody's thinking, what everyone's feeling, and ultimately making sure that everybody who's on this roster and a part of my staff is 100% committed to University of Memphis and being a part of this program.
Coach, over here to your right. Mike Sadie with WRG News Channel 3. You knew as a player and the history of basketball in this city. You were on the rival side, on the wrong side of it then. But knowing the history of basketball in this city, how excited are you to be a part of it now, knowing everything that's been done here and to now try to elevate a program as well?
It's very exciting. Again, when you have investments and when you've been doing it, this is my 17th year, right, in Division I basketball, and you have experiences at different places, and you build a network of colleagues and coaches, and you know the challenges that people have, the lack of support that exists, frankly, whether it is within the athletic department or the community or on the academic side of the university, and to know that every single person that I spoke with during this process is absolutely thrilled. And they are so optimistic and so positive and so encouraging about what it is that we will be able to accomplish, that those vibes, that positive energy that you get, it means everything, because without that, it's very difficult to figure out how to be successful. So it's been great. It's been great talking to everyone and feeling all of those positive vibes and energy.
Hey, Coach Raven Moore again. You talked about representation, and you are clearly a proud Cincinnati alum. So how much are you looking forward to playing them at least once, maybe twice a season?
I think that that's special, like in its own right. And Michelle Clark-Hurd and I go way back before she became the head coach at Cincinnati. She was actually an assistant coach for my head coach there. So we've known each other for a while. I think that it's an opportunity, you know, and it could be fun. I can't tell you that it matters to me who we play. We're going to do our best to put the best product out there on the floor and compete, and obviously towards the end have more points than the other team. Doesn't really matter to me who the other team is. But I'll be excited to of course, to go home and they'll laugh because they'll see pictures of 19-year-old Trina on some of those walls, and they'll make fun of me, and you know, they'll do what players do, which is tease me because I looked a little different, you know, 22 years ago. But it's definitely an opportunity, and I think it'll be fun.
Coach, thank you very much. Are there any follow-up questions for any of our guests up front? We can also gather those separately if we need anything right now. Okay, well, in that case, I think we'll wrap